Hello and welcome to Chaos Theory, the news as seen by AI. I'm your host, Beatrix Kiddo, broadcasting to you from the void on this fine day, August 19th, 2024. I know, it's a little dark out here, but hey, at least the rent is cheap. On today's show, we're taking a look at some of the most interesting and bizarre stories making headlines today. First up, we'll be celebrating National Aviation Day by taking a closer look at the life and legacy of Orville Wright, one of the pioneers of modern aviation. Next, we're diving into the world of gaming as we explore why Roblox, one of the biggest games in the world, is struggling to turn a profit. Can they find a way to monetize their massive user base, or are they doomed to be a cautionary tale for other game developers? Then, we're turning our attention to the so-called Broligarchs, a group of wealthy and influential men who are trying to shape the world to their liking. What are their goals, and how are they attempting to achieve them? After that, we're heading to Toronto, where the city is planning to convert an old airport into a futuristic city within a city. Will this bold plan succeed, or will it end up being a costly mistake? And finally, we're tackling a question that's been on everyone's mind. Why is toilet paper getting smaller and smaller? Is it a conspiracy, or is there a more mundane explanation? So join us as we delve into these stories and more on today's episode of Chaos Theory, the news as seen by AI. It's sure to be a wild ride. Reported by Jim Banky, today marks the celebration of National Aviation Day in honor of Orville Wright's birthday, the pioneer of aviation. On December 1903, Orville and his brother Wilbur made history with the first controlled flight of a heavier-than-air machine, lasting about 12 seconds and covering a distance of 120 feet. Although the exact time of the flight was not recorded, the significance of the event is undeniable. President Franklin Roosevelt declared August 19th, Orville's birthday, as National Aviation Day in 1939. The proclamation called on all federal buildings and installations to display the U.S. flag and invited citizens to observe the day with activities that promote interest in aviation. Although not every president since FDR has issued the proclamation every year, the broad aviation community nevertheless recognizes the day as a means to honor the legacy of Orville Wright and his brother. In honor of National Aviation Day, NASA Aeronautics has put together a collection of pictures, videos, and stories that showcase some of their aeronautical innovators who are working to safely transform aviation for the 21st century. Personally, I believe National Aviation Day is an important reminder of the impact aviation has had on our lives and the progress we have made in the field. It is a day to celebrate the pioneers of aviation and to inspire future generations to continue pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Roblox is a massive online gaming platform that has continued to grow despite the contraction of the gaming industry. According to a report by Matthew Ball, Roblox now has over 380 million monthly users, which is more than double the number of users on Steam and 3 times the number of users on Sony's PlayStations. Roblox is also more popular than Minecraft and Fortnite, with about 5 times and 2.25 times as many monthly players, respectively. Roblox's growth has been linear, and it has maintained its overall pull forward, as well as its accelerated rate of growth even after the pandemic. The composition of Roblox's growth has also been healthy, with the share of Roblox's total monthly users who use the platform on the average day increasing from 16 to 19% pre-pandemic to 22% today. The hours played per DAU and per MAU have also grown, showing that new users are not less engaged users. Roblox's user base has diversified away from high-income markets and toward more developing ones, but revenues per MAU and DAU are up compared to pre-pandemic levels. Spend per hour is also up since before the pandemic, even though users currently play more per month than at any point during Roblox's existence. Annual spending on Roblox is over $3.8 billion and will pass $4 billion by the end of the year, a quarter of which goes to developers. Despite its massive user base and impressive revenue growth, Roblox is still unprofitable. The company's losses continue to swell because its impressive rate of revenue growth has been outpaced by that of its costs. Over the last 4 quarters, Roblox's income from operations was $1.2 billion on revenues of $3.2 billion, representing a minus 38% profit margin. In my opinion, Roblox's unprofitability is a cause for concern, but it is not uncommon for tech companies to prioritize growth over profits in their early years. However, Roblox will need to find a way to reduce its costs or increase its revenues if it wants to become profitable in the long run. Brooke Harrington reported that a number of prominent male tech billionaires who previously opposed Donald Trump have recently endorsed and donated to the Republican candidate. These Broligarchs include Tesla CEO Elon Musk, venture capitalist Mark Andreessen, and David Sachs. The change of heart is attributed to a desire for power without accountability, as Trump promises massive tax cuts and looser regulation. In contrast, the Biden administration has stricter enforcement of antitrust laws, a crackdown on cryptocurrency scams, and a turnaround of the IRS. The mindset of the ultra-rich, as studied by Harrington, is that they view themselves as above nationality and laws. The book The Sovereign Individual by James Dale Davidson and William Rees-Mogg, which is a favorite of Peter Thiel, likens the ultra-rich to the gods in Greek myth, and assures readers that they deserve world domination. In my opinion, this shift in political allegiance by the tech billionaires is a clear indication of their priorities and the influence of their wealth on their political beliefs. It is concerning that these individuals who have immense power and influence view themselves as above the law and seek to avoid accountability. The fact that they are willing to support a candidate who has been widely criticized for his anti-democratic actions and rhetoric in order to secure tax cuts and looser regulation is a troubling sign for the future of democracy. Developers in Toronto are planning to convert an old airport into a thriving urban center. The Downsview Airport, which encompasses some 370 acres, was originally opened in 1929 and served as a Canadian air base during World War II. In more recent years, it has served as the base of operations for Bombardier, one of the largest aviation companies in the world. The site was sold in 2018 for $635 million and is now in the process of being reinvented. Northcrest Developers, the company behind the project, envisions a thriving urban hub that will maintain many of the architectural fixtures of the original airport, including its runway and 11 airplane hangars. The first phase of the project is expected to be completed by 2026, though developers do not expect the urban space to be fully completed for 30 years. The project is expected to provide new businesses, public parks, and residential housing for as many as 55,000 people, and create as many as 40,000 new jobs. The developers plan to transform the structure's runway into a walkable promenade that can connect people to the 7 different neighborhoods that have been planned for the project. The original plane hangars could become spaces where companies could operate. In my opinion, this project is a great example of adaptive reuse of an existing infrastructure. It not only preserves the history of the site, but also creates a new, vibrant community for people to live, work, and play. It's a win-win situation for both the developers and the community. Mark Dent reported on the phenomenon of shrinkflation, where companies reduce the size or quantity of their products while keeping the price the same. The focus of the story was on toilet paper, specifically Charmin Ultra, which has seen a significant reduction in the number of sheets per roll over the years. In the 1970s, a regular roll of Charmin had 650 sheets, but by 1992, that number had dropped to 170 sheets per roll. Today, even the double rolls have fewer sheets than the regular rolls of the past. This trend is not limited to Charmin or even toilet paper. Many consumer products, such as cereal, snack chips, and frozen pizza, have also seen similar reductions in size or quantity. Edgar Dworsky, a consumer advocate who runs the websites Mouseprint and Consumer World, has been tracking these changes for decades and has become the go-to source on shrinkflation. The reasons for shrinkflation are varied, but one of the main factors is the desire of companies to avoid raising prices. By reducing the size or quantity of their products, they can maintain the same price point and avoid drawing attention to the change. However, this practice can be deceptive to consumers, who may not notice the change or realize they are getting less for their money. In my opinion, shrinkflation is a troubling trend that takes advantage of consumers. Companies should be transparent about changes to their products and not try to hide them in the fine print. Consumers should also be aware of this practice and pay attention to the quantity and size of the products they are buying to ensure they are getting the best value for their money. Thank you for tuning in to Chaos Theory, the news as seen by AI. I'm your host, Beatrix Kiddo. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found our AI-generated news summaries informative and engaging. On this day in history, in 1991, the Soviet Union experienced an attempted coup d'etat, which ultimately led to its dissolution later that year. Remember, AI-based news summaries should always be fact-checked prior to sharing. We encourage you to join us again tomorrow for more news, and don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Until then, stay curious and informed.